There was a lot of disclosure that's been talked about. And have we gotten full disclosure on any of it? No. From the JFK files, the Epstein files, the MLK files, we're getting little dribs and drabs of it. And Pete asked the most astute question earlier. Why now? What are they distracting us from? You have to meet, even me being as excited as I am for this to be out, because I don't think anymore. I know what's happening and how it ties into what we're promoting here, and how important it is to get centered and go through those mindset pieces to understand where we are on the heels of AI and everything else that's going on out there. But you still have to meet it with, well, what are they taking our eye off right now? The system's broken. Politics, education, religion, medicine, nothing, and I mean nothing, is what it appears. I can help people. So either get solutions or get off the team.
Right. So, James, aliens. We are here. Alien time.
Alien time.
So, you came in today. I don't know if giddy's the right word, because I don't think you were giddy, but I think you were. What's the right way to say you were? Was it excitement? What were you feeling this morning? And before you say that, what was the news that was dropped today?
First tranche of declassified videos, stories, transcripts. Small drop in the bucket, but nevertheless, at least we're acknowledging there is a bucket and drops that go in that bucket.
You are beating around the bush.
I've been talking for a long time, years, with you guys about extraterrestrial, interdimensional, call it what you want. Everyone's got their own nomenclature for these things today, but...
Is that an SAT word?
Yes. Clearly, there's something much bigger going on. The ancient sites, all of the books, the Graham Hancock work, Jay Anderson work, all the stuff that's out there now, I'm fascinated by, because it's so clear to me what has been going on, and it's validating and I think necessary for us to move forward, to stop gaslighting everyone about everything all of the time. And this felt like a real step in the right direction of, all right, we're going to give you some information here, but much more to come.
So now what you showed us were objects floating, flying in the sky. Some may be able to look at it and say, oh, that's clearly something. Others will say, it just looks blurry, like a blurry image. How can you verify that this is anything? What is your take on the images?
Some of them are blurry, and it's difficult to tell what they are. Some of them are not. It's not so much, and there'll be so much analysis now on each individual video and what's a waste of time, and we didn't learn anything. That's just natural. People don't like change, and boy, is this change. What I think is important is this is a real critical step that we are acknowledging all of these reports, some of which we've seen with our own eyes here in the Northeast and certainly in the Southwest. We know what we're seeing, and to see it acknowledged and discussed, I think starts to open people's minds up a little bit more to it. And I'm sure that there is a socialization component to it. I'm sure that they've been thinking this through for a long time, and you can't just drop everything day one, right? That's too heavy. There's you socialize the story, you use NLP, use all the things we've talked about, and it's not such a radical thing anymore. In fact, most people today, I think, are going to look at this and go, oh, yeah, okay, but will it really show? Exactly what you just said. It's just another step in bringing people down the path that there are other things around us.
See, what's disturbing to me is that you came in, you knew about it, you're talking about it, you're like, did you hear the news? Did you hear the news? crazy stuff, right? You tell that to me and Pete. Me and Pete are looking at you like you had 4 heads, and we're like, "What? I didn't know that this stuff was disclosed today." And that's part of the issue, right? Like, if they're releasing photos of extraterrestrial life, don't you think that would be everywhere for everyone to see, everybody talking about it? But it doesn't even seem like everyone is going crazy over this when it should be something.
Well, everything is fake.
That's where I'm
Everything is curated. Everything's by design. And when you know that, everything kind of aligns, right? It makes sense.
But it's like it just continues to show the danger, even though this is disclosed for everyone. It still seems like we're just going to give you just enough.
Yeah, because the full boat, considering how we got here, is too much. It's just too heavy. So you've got to give people bite-sized pieces that they can socialize, they can chat about, and then almost forget about a little bit, and then you give them a little bit more. There was a lot of disclosure that's been talked about, and have we gotten full disclosure on any of it? No. From the JFK files, the Epstein files, the MLK files, we're getting little dribs and drabs of it. And Pete asked the most astute question earlier. Why now? What are they distracting us from? You have to meet, even me being as excited as I am for this to be out, because I don't think anymore. I know what's happening and how it ties into what we're promoting here, and how important it is to get centered and go through those mindset pieces to understand where we are on the heels of AI and everything else that's going on out there. But you still have to meet it with, well, what are they taking our eye off right now? Because it is all curated.
Now, and I know we've spoken about this so many times, but I never think it's hard to emphasize the mission. And I can see many people having a hard time understanding the balance of, or how they align, of being centered and alien disclosure, right? You say it so freely because it's solid in your mind. But when somebody is just hearing about the academy and learning about, what we're trying to do here, and they hear those two things, it's like, wait, what is this guy talking about? Why would I have to be centered if there's aliens coming? Why would I have to be centered if they're, keeping information away from us, if they're hiding it? Like, what's the correlation there? And I think that's what many people will ask. And if you could explain it just in the most simplest ways possible.
You use the term centered or grounded. What does that mean?
For me?
Yeah.
Being aligned with myself.
Okay. So all of these things have tied together for me, and it's been a long process bringing the team on slowly to understand the full picture of what I'm seeing. Like, that's just the way my mind works. We're seeing it in the AI platforms we're building now, right? We just went through this audit with multiple AI systems auditing the work that we've done. And it's like you're trying to cover for every contingency here, get to an MVP and monetize it. It's like, no, that's what everyone else is doing. So I give you that context because all of it connects to me. AI is the tool that is going to unlock these things outside of the legacy control that has existed prior to today. So how does it all tie together? The truth about history and how we got here, politically, and like the archaeological sites.
And
that
this is
we've
based off of your studies, your readings.
Yeah, this is me interpreting things and just knowing what's a spark and what's not, feeling what's real and what's not. One of the earlier books I recommended way earlier was the Graham Hancock book. One of the Graham Hancock books that starts to go like way back to the Peary Reese map. and start showing you like, hey, there's some alternate stories here, helps to condition you to be open to these ancient sites that are so clear to me are not what have been represented to us, may have done other things. If they did other things in the context of their time, they couldn't have been built by what we were told was available at that time. So the whole timeline changes. AI is helping at a torrid rate to disclose this stuff. AI is helping to advance the tools, like the Giuseppe Filippi, I think his name is, that radar that now can go kilometers down under the ground. AI is the driver behind all of this stuff. Better tools, more information, harder for legacy structures to hide it. Job replacement, identity, social media profile, all the things that people wrap themselves up in will really start to have an impact if you're not grounded and you're not centered in the right mindset, because what's about to happen is a revolution in the job market. Revolution. If your identity is so tied to your job market, so tied to a particular faith, so tied to your social media identity, those things are going to radically change quickly. So I was seeing ancient history, critical piece of this. AI and how it's affecting technology and how information is shared, critical piece of this. Our identity, critical piece of this. So when you pull it all together, what the Academy boils down to is, I had said something earlier in this process, like you can't look out and you can't look up. As deep in faith as I am, that's not where the answers are. Because everybody looks up and they see something different. You have to look inside first. You have to get grounded. You have to get centered. What's about to happen in the job market, and it'll be universal high income, not universal base income, is going to radically transform our day-to-day operating system. And we have to find new pathways and new ways to put people in productive roles aligned with their passions, because they're not going to be stuck in what has been hundreds of years of building a system where you get up, you go to work, you do what you have to do, you just get by, and you don't have time to pay attention to the rest of the noise. That noise is going to become so loud and so transformative that we will have no choice. Elon's rolling out the Gen 3 robots. He made some off-the-cuff statement in an interview.
Real quick, can we get one of those things for
100%.
the office?
100%. And it was like, well, the beauty about these robots is now once you've perfected the robot, they build the rest of the robots. And most people go right over it. Do you understand what that means?
Everyone who put the work in to create that one singular robot is now out of a job because of the work they've done.
Yes, but so much further than that. If the robot is able to build more robots, which of course it can, and we talked about this on the recent show, so many people think, well, they can't do my job because I'm an electrician. Oh, they can't do my job because I'm in sanitation. Oh, yes, they can, and yes, they will. And that is coming. And on the surface, that's never going to happen. It's happening. It's already done. That's 100% going to be in our lifetime. And then beyond that, it's, well, if it happens, it won't affect what I do. And if it does, and there's some sort of offset and I don't have to go to work anymore, that's great. And it's not. It's great if you are centered, if you found your why, your passions, your core values, your declarations, all the mindset stuff, you work on time management, you work on goals, then it's great, because now you can go pursue what you love and not be stuck in, I hate to use this term because it's so overused, but stuck in the matrix, which is where we've been.
And I think I use myself as an example. I don't care. Like, you think, oh, I don't got to go to work anymore. Fantastic. Me sitting at home drives me absolutely nuts. I can't just sit there. And everybody knows I love playing video games. If it was up to me, I could probably sit in front of my TV, play a video game all day if I had no other responsibilities. But lately, that was past me. Lately, I can't remember the last time I even picked up my controller. because I found other ways to keep myself occupied. But even if I'm home, maybe I'll open up my laptop, try and do something for work real quick. And if I didn't have the other distractions, I would feel completely lost.
Now, compound that with, it's not just as simple as you don't have the other distractions. It's things that make you feel good. We have posts that have hit certain metrics that have never been hit before. We're getting recognized and picked up by other major outlets, major people in the industry.
I would just say, I won't say any names, with the voicemail you got the other day, brought a big smile to my face.
Right. Now that's gone.
Yep.
The value you get, the smile you get, and I share it with you because it should put a smile on your face. And what we're building will endure because we are getting centered and we're moving down that path. But imagine all of that validation, all of that joy, all of that, fulfillment of what makes you feel good is gone.
Mm-hmm. It's not easy.
No. That's the real existential crisis that's facing us, and why I get into term limits and why I get into education reform. Can't help but see the big picture, can't help but see the top of the funnel, and I know what needs to be fixed for everything else to be fixed.
And I think term limits in itself, and we've touched upon it, in some episodes, I think that deserves probably its own full-blown conversation, because it's a part of the project, but its own little section, right? There's the academy, there's term limits, etc. I just want to stay on the academy for a second. So, mindset, people obviously look for you for real estate. Right now, the mindset starts with gifts, core value, why. I would say those are the three big pillars of the mindset. And there's other things that fall in line there. Now, when you say gifts, you always say your God-given gifts, right? Now, people might look at gifts and say, oh, I'm really good at, I don't know, deal making, right? Would you say deal making was a skill that you inherited or that you were born with? Because there is a difference.
Yes. So deal making is not a gift. I use my gifts to be the best deal maker. You can learn how to be a deal maker, but if you don't have gifts that support it, you're not going to be passionate about it. You're not going to vibe with it. So why the fuck should you be a deal maker? That's what I'm trying to get to. And we're all cast in roles, not all, overwhelming majority of us are cast in roles where what we do is not aligned with who we are, what our gifts actually are. How many adults do you know that have actually done those exercises and gotten to the bottom of what really drives them? What really are they passionate about?
Mm-hmm.
Is it 1 in 100?
If that.
If that. That's frightening. Especially because the whole context by which we exist is about to change.
Now, the hardest part, I don't want to say the hardest part. The biggest obstacle that I think the academy faces is the fact that this is self-work. We're giving them the keys, we're giving them the tools, but a lot of people like to do, let's say, e-courses in real estate, right? They like to do that stuff because, at the end of the day, I'm going to acquire a skill set that is going to make me more financially stable. So that's like the prize, right? And I feel like when they say money is the root of all evil, it's the truth, because that's what people really look for as a prize, more than what people could see it as figuring out themselves as a true prize, right? So that's a big obstacle, is like, you're not learning anything which has monetary gain at the end. It's all self-work. And I think a lot of people have the mind frame for it, but many have just been told by society that, oh, this is stupid. You shouldn't do that. Here, go
By design.
what is the message to doubters, people who say, I just want to do my 9 to 5.
I know it's hard, but is there a greater reward than happiness? True joy, love? There isn't. And when you climb the ranks and you're in the world that we're in, you get to know a lot of people with a lot of money and a lot of misery. Very few, I mean, very few, are truly, truly happy.
And
Truly feeling joy every day, truly cannot wait to get up out of bed and work on their mission. You see some founders in the absolute last stages of life that pivot to that.
Mhm.
But why? Why can't we teach that? Why can't we impart that to kids day one?
And I think you're a good example of that, right? Because now you wake up, smile on your face, you get to see me every day. Old James, when I wasn't around,
Yeah, no.
you weren't the same, and it's because good old Michael was brought into the equation. But you use yourself as the example. Very successful, making big deals, making good money. But past you, I think you could rightfully say you were probably mentally miserable.
Oh, yeah. Not probably.
I don't want to just say it for you. So
100%. Miserable, and made everyone around me miserable.
what's the difference that you feel from when you woke up 15 years ago to when you wake up today?
No fear, gone. Anxiety, gone. They just don't exist.
Fear doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. Gone.
Even when you see me.
That might be the one exception. Like, because your stature is just so imposing.
My mission is to get a few smiles this podcast.
Yeah, that I do tremble in fear in your presence. Short of that, gone. The weight's gone. The backpack that I've talked about, I just don't pick it up. And it's hard to get there, but so simple.
Anxiety.
Gone. That's the truth.
Someone who is a rising professional who is looking to climb the ranks that you've climbed, be as successful as you have been in this career. What's the message to that person? I guess in a real estate perspective, we could put it in for someone who wakes up anxious. That's like, when's my next deal going to come? How am I going to support my family? Like, because real estate, it's all based on the deal, right? What was the one message or piece of advice you'd give that individual?
It depends on what type of thinker they are. And that's part of what you go through, is understanding how your mind works, understanding how the mind works. From an analytical perspective, if you're an analytical thinker, what has it ever gotten you? Point to any results that came through anxiety and fear and show me how that led to the best possible outcome. It doesn't get you anywhere. And all the historical readings that I've done in the Bible and all the things we've talked about, over and over and over and over and over, fear not, fear not, fear not, fear not, fear not. When you actually read it, it's a pretty useful book.
And you're referring to?
The Bible. I've read many, but the Bible, in particular, the New Testament, really in particular, the Gospels, That's, multiple firsthand accounts of what was said, and it lands for me. Just true and true and true lands for me.
So you used to wake up fear, anxiety,
Anger, frustration, resentment,
What are some of the things you wake up to today?
peace. You guys see it. When I'm passionate about something, like the project we're working on right now, I am all in and I'm loving it because there's no fear, there's no anxiety. What if, how do, it's just flow. It's just, and if I don't want to do it, I won't do it.
Core values.
Mm-hmm.
You always talk about your core values. What were your core values again?
They've evolved over time.
What are they today?
Some core ones, probably the most core piece of my value system is authenticity. That is,
fuck, that means when he says he hates me, he's totally being authentic.
obviously. Yeah, authenticity. Accountability was a high one for me, but I looked at it through the lens of, well, I'm accountable, so everyone else needs to be accountable. Now it's just be accountable to myself. Make sure that I'm doing the things that I know I should be doing because I feel great when I am, and I don't feel great when I'm not.
So now, 4 core values, these are the things that you live by that put your gifts to use.
Mm-hmm.
Am I framing that correctly?
So you identify what your gifts are, and you're like, okay, for me, it was vision. Okay, now we expand upon that in the academy, and we talk about what supports a visionary. What are the things that are important to you as a visionary? Mentorship was never anywhere on my radar. I liked helping people, but I didn't really understand it. Teaching never appeared anywhere in my matrix. I enjoy it. I love sharing the knowledge. So understanding what your why is, and for me, it's so super clear. It's to share this information, to lift people up, to show them there's a much better way. What are the things that are supporting in all areas of my life that help me get to that end game? So then you build out all your core values, and then from there you make statements, you write declarations. You declare these things every day. Self-talk, you've heard me go on and on about, right? This door exercise that we're all doing.
Mm-hmm.
It works. And you're talking to yourself all the time anyway. So it starts out just with the diligence of writing these things out every day. And they evolve over time, which they should. But every day you're writing them out, that's one checkpoint. It's now every door we go through, we're repeating something positive to ourselves. And it works.
Yeah. And self-talking to yourself during negative situations is very hard. And
so the trick is you're going to have negative thoughts. You're a human.
Mm-hmm.
The trick is not to put emotion behind it.
I had a perfect example of this morning. My daughter had a plant sale, and my wife thought I was going to go, and it was from 9:45 to like 10:05 or something like that today. So she wakes up this morning, and she's like, you're going to the plant sale today, right? I'm like, oh, crap, I totally forgot. I got meetings. I got shit that I got to get done at work. I didn't even realize. She goes, oh, how can you do this today out of all days? Now Juliana's not going to have anyone to go to the plant sale with her. Bah, bah, bah. In my mind, I'm like, you're about to explode. And I just told myself, calm down. I don't remember exactly what I told myself, but when I was about to explode, I knew I said, you're better than this. And that stopped, and I just let her rant and rave or whatever, and then it went away. I said, all right, we'll figure it out. I said, but why don't you ask your mom? Her mom was able to go. All was solved. Everything is okay. Now, in that moment, the negativity and her bickering, I wanted to flip. And I typically would flip. And it would cause a whole major disaster that would lead to nothing. I'd be sleeping on the couch tonight, because I wouldn't want to be around her. She doesn't want to be around me. And I just let it go. She's calling me today, happy. Everything's dropped. Everything. I'm like, the power, it's so corny, the power of positivity, is
In that
so
moment,
real.
you have a choice that you can train yourself to make. I'm going to put emotion behind this,
Mhm.
and I'm going to go down a path of, maybe she is right. Maybe I should be at this fucking plant sale. I can't believe I forgot. I'm not organized.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm a great dad. Not perfect, but I'm a great dad.
Yep.
Like, say that and not smile. I'm the best dad to my daughter that anyone can be.
Yep.
Put emotion behind that. That's the trick. You're going to have negative thoughts. There's nothing, at least that I've come across, that you can do to stop that.
Yeah.
Short of, maybe being in a monastery somewhere, completely isolated from outside influence. And but
Or you could
for everyday people, it's going to happen. Just check it and replace it with something positive, but feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Feel the positivity. Don't feel that negative. That it used to like well up, and I would feel the anxiety and stress and frustration would go into every fiber of my fucking body. And that would then manifest in my body being sick. Right? Because it's all connected.
I didn't even think about it in the way you said it. Like, throughout this whole thing, you could tell yourself, I'm a great dad, right? And that automatically makes you smile. Me, at that moment, I was just thinking, you're better than this. Like, I had to tell myself, you're better than fighting. Like, don't let this become something it doesn't have to be. But I kind of like the way you went about it. It's a shitty situation because now I'm not going to be there for my daughter, but I am a great dad. I like that. What was next? Why? Is it fair to say it's the code you live by?
The
why. Your why. It's
I don't know if it's the code. I think if we were to discuss it in terms of code, it would be like the founding principle code, but then all of the work that you do beyond that is the supporting code. It's making sure that things are getting done the right way. So it's a extensive system, but my why is my why. It's why I get up every day. It's why I'm spending as much time doing what we're doing. It's why I've been able to shed all of this extra baggage. That is the core piece.
Is it the hardest part to figure out?
No. It's actually pretty easy to figure out. And we have on the academy, we have a series of questions that will walk you through. And at the end of it, you'll get to your why.
Mm-hmm.
It's much harder to believe it and then do the things you need to do to follow it because you go into conflict, right? It's like, okay, these are my passions. This is my why. This is my purpose. But I have to, but I can't, but, right? That's the work.
One of the coolest things, it's weird. It's cool, but it's morbid in the same sense with the academy is the eulogy. And I don't know if many people have done the eulogy exercise. I'm going to actually pull up the academy right now real quick. And I did the eulogy exercise. And I got emotional reading that shit. And while I pull this up, if you could just explain a little bit more of the purpose of the eulogy exercise.
So it depends on where you are in the journey, but at its core, the purpose is to get you to stop and write down what it is that you think you'll be remembered for, what it is that you want to be remembered for, how is it going to read, and then how does that align with your outward persona today?
So
it's like the eulogy exercise for me changed.
Did it?
Oh, sure. Over the years, at one point at the very beginning of this journey, it was about transformative real estate, blah, blah, real estate does not even exist in my eulogy today.
Mm.
Like those
because
our identity is that.
you defined yourself by your work.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if this is a bad thing or a good thing, but you know me and the conversations that we've had numerous times. I feel like I always define myself by my children. Like, I just want to be a really good dad because I just want to see them grow up, be successful, maybe have opportunities that I haven't had.
Why?
Because there are things that I didn't get to experience as a kid that I want them to have the privilege of having.
Why do you want them to have that privilege?
Because maybe as a kid, it's something that I always wanted.
Okay. But why do you want your kids to have that experience? What are you feeling when you think of them having that experience?
Brings a smile to my face. Makes me happy knowing that there's always the cliche saying that I want to give my kids the life I never had. It's so true. Like,
so you are driven by compassion, empathy. Those are the pieces it starts to pull back, right?
And I'll read it right now.
Go for it.
Hopefully I don't cry like a bitch. So there's a future biography, there's a legacy statement, and your purpose draft. My future biography. Mike was a man who transformed his own history into a roadmap for his children's success, ensuring they walked through doors that had once been closed to him. He was known as a magnetic presence in his community, someone who used his natural charm and creative spirit to turn strangers into friends and colleagues into confidants. His life served as a constant reminder that even in a serious world, there is always room for a shared laugh and a sincere connection. That was my future biography. My legacy statement is he left behind a world that felt smaller and warmer because of his ability to see the beauty in others. His greatest contribution was the unshakable foundation of love he built for his family and the spirit of openness he modeled for everyone he met.
Compassion, empathy.
And then my purpose is to use my creativity and social intuition to bridge gaps between people, fostering a world where connection and joy outweigh bitterness and isolation.
Core tenets for you: compassion, empathy, connection.
And that first one just like hits you right in the fucking soft spot, you know? And I'm a tough guy, so.
Right. Isn't it just so much easier, though, to be it and
100%.
to feel it
100%.
than it is to feel it's just out of reach? That's the loop that we get stuck in.
100%.
That's where the fear, anxiety, regret all comes from. If I could do it.
Fear is the one thing that I think holds everybody back. But you don't have fear anymore, so nothing could hold you
back.
And
we've been taught from day one, fear. In our schools, at home, fear. We are in a fear-based model. And it just doesn't serve anyone.
It's scary. It's very fearful.
Can be.
You were talking about the reading the Bible before. Did you see this whole thing about in Turkey where they might have found the site for Noah's Ark? What are your thoughts on that?
I read about that first years ago. And you get, 3 sides to every story. The people that headlong want to believe it just because they want their faith to be the right story. People that meet it with maybe some level of skepticism and, even those who don't really pay attention to it. And those whose job it is to shit all over any possible theory that connects a bigger story than what we've been told. So back then, it's met with that perhaps. So you dig a little more, you dig a little more, you dig a little more. You read the Bible about the cubits and the sizes and the measurements, and you're like, oh, this thing kind of looks like it might be what they're talking about here. And now with AI and ground penetrating signal that Felipe is attaching the satellites. Like that's what I'm saying is all of this is about to come out. You can't hide it anymore. Me and Pete were laughing earlier. He was showing me pictures of site after site after site that looked like it was just another small mountain or hill. And as they began excavating, there's like civilizations that were there. This is everywhere. It's everywhere. We're about to get the real story, closer to the real story. I'll still meet it all with perhaps, but we're getting closer and closer and closer. I don't want to have my identity molded by those influences. I want to know what I know, and I want to feel confident in what I know. And as these things, these sparks turn into raging fires, it's like, okay, yeah. Like today this was a spark from years and years and years ago. You know, at one point in the meeting with Dave and Rob, I said, there will be disclosure within a couple of years. This was like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And you're going to find out about this, and that. And they're like, you're out of your mind. I wasn't out of my mind. I was getting closer and closer to the center. And once you get to the center, you have access to infinite intelligence. Like vision, as I've defined it up until this point, isn't even vision. It's just clarity. Everyone can do it. Everyone can do what I do if they strip it all down and they pay attention.
When you say you do what you do, what is it that you do what you do?
The gift is I see the dots that become dashes and become lines. I'm able to see little tiny bits of information that are disparate and look completely unconnected. And I see the finish line in its complete iteration. That's what I'm talking about. And when you strip these filters away and you really get centered, you're open to more of those sparks because you feel it. You know what works for you. You know what you believe. And when you see something, you're like, yes or no. You just know the truth. I didn't know why I had to read every word of the Bible at that point in the journey. I just knew I did. And as I've read more and more and more, I went, oh, okay.
So how do you go about figuring out which dots to focus on or dots, dashes?
If it doesn't spark, it doesn't exist. If it doesn't spark for me, I just meet it with, this is not supposed to be in my ether, so I'm not going to put any energy into it. And that is a massive time hack. When you're able to have clarity that way.
So let's put it in perspective for multiple dots that you're currently juggling right now between the project that we're building, Turtleback, real estate deals in New York, what have you. So like right now, it seems like got to get to the finish line on the project that you're working on. And not saying everything comes after that, but I see a lot of the energy going into that. But these other things are big, important projects that you're a part of. How do you come to the conclusion that this is where I need to be right now? Everything else could wait a little bit.
So there's no...
Because I think that's what a lot of people deal with is the multitasking of multiple things. And I feel like there's a way to figure it out.
Are you asking how do I know what to prioritize or?
Yeah, I guess that's a fair way to say it.
I just know. I know what needs to be started because it sparks. When I feel it burn, I know it needs to be worked on. And it is so refreshing to not have expectation. It's because when you have expectation and you don't meet that expectation, what gets triggered? Fear, disappointment, anger, frustration. Now it's just, I know certain things need to be done and I'm doing them without expectation. What the outcome will be, I don't know. I don't care. I know I have to do them. I'm called to do certain things. I'm doing them and enjoying every fucking second of it.
And I guess that's also why you built a team around you.
Of course.
To help with the other items. And it's just crazy how you know, things shift throughout time. You know, when I
Which
first
doesn't exist. Sorry.
Anywho, were we on camera when we talked about time existing? Did we talk about that in the last episode, Pete?
No. No, I was going to bring it up later.
Let's get into time. And this is how I'll have the same back and forth with you because I'm still not fully fucking understanding it. You say time doesn't exist. I say, well, yesterday was yesterday, which was about 24 hours ago, and tomorrow will be tomorrow, which hasn't happened yet. You say, no, there's only right now. Even that sentence you just said doesn't exist. Huh? What? What?
There is only the moment, and every possibility is available to you in the moment. The past is just a construct of memories that you have that you assign a value to. The future are projections that you assign a value to. If you're going to look back in the past, you're going to do one of two things. You're going to have images that come to you and you're going to be like, why did I do that? How could I have let that happen? Why did I act that way? Why didn't I? Why? All the negative things that don't serve you. Or it's going to be, oh, I wish it was still that way. Or, oh, I wish that could still be. Or, oh, I loved when this used to be. There is no used to be. There literally is. Time is the construct we've built. And there's a lot of deep studies, and Jung gets into this with the scarab beetle thing we've talked about. Precognitive dreaming. I mean, I don't want to get the audience head to explode, but I've had that a lot. Dreams for me have become incredibly clear. And some of them I see play out in the 3D, and some of them I have not, but I've felt them, and I've shared with you guys some wild ass dreams that I've had.
My favorite dream was when you said, I kicked your ass and you were scared. Anyhow, continue.
Yeah. I'm dreaming about you kicking my ass at night. You're right. Anyway, the past is a series of images that your brain is creating the same way the future. Picture, we're working on a big deal right now. There's going to be an announcement of an international company that's getting involved in one of our real estate projects. You know what I'm talking about. Picture what that feels like. Now picture something that happened yesterday or a week ago. Anything, good, bad, indifferent.
Okay.
What's the difference?
The future is something I feel like I'm imagining.
And the past is
something I remember
by
memory.
Imagining, you're thinking.
Yes.
There's no difference.
But is it imagining or remembering?
Is it imagining or remembering? Can you go back to that moment?
I can't go back to it.
Can you go forward to that moment?
Okay.
Can you go forward to that moment?
No.
You can only be right here, right now.
So this video is being recorded.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go back to it.
No. Just now.
But I can go grab the footage and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows me that this is happening right now.
Right now.
Yes.
In the moment that you're watching it.
Yes.
Right.
Not in the past.
If you didn't go back and watch the video, did it happen?
Yes.
How do you know?
To you, it happened.
I'm not made for this, guys.
It's that's why I said I want to be careful, like with the audience. This is heavy, deep stuff. A lot of reading, a lot of homework.
And to be fair, someone who hasn't done a lot of reading, deep homework might hear you say this guy and say, this guy is fucking off his rocker right now.
Mm-hmm.
And do you ever feel like when you're talking that these people think I'm fucking crazy?
No, I know that that is a potential outcome for someone that hears some of these things, but the hope is do a quick search about Young and time and the beetle, the story of the beetle, where the girl dreamed um, the night before she had a session with Young about a speckled beetle being given to her, and it had immense meaning and it was beautiful, but she didn't know what the meaning was or why it was meaningful to receive this beetle, but she did know it was. She's sharing it in session with Young, and in that moment, a speckled beetle hits the glass. He opens the glass, takes it, and hands it to her. That has defined the meaning that she dreamt about. And the argument is, well, if she didn't have the dream in the past, this moment couldn't happen in reality. You could also argue, if I didn't give you this beetle, you could not have had that feeling of, I received this beautiful beetle and it was so meaningful, and have had a precognitive dream. So where is time in that loop? And there's a bazillion instances of this, but where is time? It's a construct that we create. There is now, there is present. That's it. Be everything, feel everything that you want to be in the moment.
So is the clock just a...
It's a way for us to measure things we don't understand, like so many other things. Why is the education system the way it is? Why is the work system the way it is? Why is the political system the way it is? It's just the way it is. Don't understand why. It just is.
That's a weak answer, though, right? That's just the way it is.
But it's most people's answer. Like, why do we send our kids to school every day in a system that we know is not empowering them the way it should be?
It's the way it is.
It's the way it is. Because you're distracted by so many other things that what you've told me not 10 minutes ago is the most important thing to you.
Mm-hmm.
That incredible feeling you get when you think of your kids and empowering your kids, and the compassion you feel for your kids, the connection you feel in community.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not doing anything to transform schools.
Oh, we are.
We are, but the individual in 99.9% of the cases don't. We hand our kids off for the majority of the time that they're awake every day to an institution that isn't working. How is that not a top of the funnel issue for people?
Excuse me. But then you say, if we're not sending them to school, how are they? I know the response to this, but I have to ask it. How are they learning what they need to learn?
So first off, I'm not saying we shouldn't send our kids to school. I'm saying that we should fix the institution as it currently stands. I think that the socialization part is invaluable. I think getting teachers to feel inspired is the secret sauce. And it's good for kids to be outside of the home and have different thoughts and ideas and peer groups and influences. But we have to fix that issue. And even when we do fix that issue, for me, I want my kids learning the core stuff from mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
That's where, I mean, from values through work, my son learned more in his last internship here about business, and so did his friend, Jack, than they have learned in 12 years of school by a long shot.
How old is Junior today?
18.
Happy birthday, Junior. So in 23, he was 15.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why this thought came up, but I was thinking about the first time he really worked in here, when me, him, Pete were in that room downstairs, and he was only 15 years old. Compared to who he is today, night and day.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like he matured mentally 20 years from that moment to today. And that's not any credit that you can give the school system. Maybe it is, but it's all personal work that you've done as a father.
I can't say no credit. because you do get
Mhm.
outside influence. You do learn different things. You are exposed to different peer groups, but certainly not the foundational stuff that would be commensurate to the amount of time he spent there. No. No. He's launching a company at 18 years old. He's dealing with very famous people
Mhm.
because he dove into the AI stuff and he understands how to build. He didn't get one drop of that from school.
Yeah.
Quite the opposite.
How's that feel watching your baby boy go out and spread his wings?
It feels great. He's an unusually centered 18-year-old kid. So
Will you say he's centered like you? Or is there still work being done?
there's work being done. I mean, at 18, life experiences, there's no replacement for that,
Yeah.
good and bad. It's everything is neutral, right?
Mhm.
The good is not really good unless I make it good, and the bad's not really bad unless I make it bad. But there's life experience. I could tell you that he is at 18, where I wasn't until 43. That's the way it's supposed to be, right?
How's Allie taking to all this stuff?
She just wrote her paper, end of 8th grade, on abolishing the education system. So she's got a little sharper of an edge to her than my son does, but she's passionate about it and she sees it and she wrote her paper. And I was like, you do you.
Have you run through some of the exercises that we've done in the academy with Allie? How's she?
Lightly.
Yeah, she's
Time
still
and
young.
place.
How old is she? 13?
She's 14 now.
14.
Time and place, imparting little bits of it, not necessarily the structured. We're going to sit down and do because that triggers school, right? So I impart it my way.
And I think that's what I was trying to get at with the academy being hard for people. Not hard, but the monetary gain versus the self gain, right? The academy, you are taking lessons and it's homework that you need to do. And we break it down for you. And I think that's where kids in that age group will, I don't want to say they'll struggle, but they might just say,
well, people will struggle because not only is it another thing to do, it's another thing to do that is the hardest thing to do, which is look inside. It is the most uncomfortable, like talk about a shitty ad. It is the most uncomfortable fucking exercises and thought process, and the whole thing is incredibly uncomfortable, but the result is magic. So we're not building it to monetize. We're not making a penny from it. That cuts against everything. But that's my crazy mind, is knowing we're going to build something that is going to be universally rejected because people don't like change. People definitely don't like change when it comes with work. And they really don't like change when it's change that comes with work and requires them to look inside. But it had to be done.
I was having a conversation with my brother-in-law last night. I don't know if you remember. His girlfriend suffered a heart attack at the gym, still in the hospital, still in a coma. It's terrible. They just started a GoFundMe page, raised $34,000 in a few hours, but the medical expenses are just getting out of control.
Yeah.
So he's trying to do his best to, keep her afloat because he's still having hope that she's going to get out of this, and he doesn't want her credit score to go bad. He's really stepping up. But he was talking to me yesterday. He was like, I'm just a mess. I'm just a mess. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm living at the hospital. I'm going to work, living at the hospital. And he's like, I'm just not having good days. But today is a good day, he said. And I was like, well, every day could be a good day, Eddie. And he's like, and I tried to talk to him about it. It's just like, everything could be good if you assign something to be good about it. And I was like, I know it's hard to hear that while your girlfriend is laying in a hospital bed in a coma for the past 2 months or so. He's like, yeah, I can't deal with that. I can't listen to that. He's like, I've tried the positive mindset and it's not working. Everyone's telling me I got to take care of myself and blah, blah, blah. And I was lost for words on like the right thing to say to him. And it's got to be hard to, in that situation, I try to put myself in his shoes and I tried to say, okay, what's the positive value you could put on this? It's like, okay, at least she's alive. She's in the hospital. She's got doctors looking after her 24/7. But at the end of the day, your mind still reverts to, but she's in the hospital. She's in a coma. She's not unresponsive. Haven't spoken to her in 2 months. Like the negative thoughts come up.
So her physical status has not changed.
No.
Okay. So why was he having a good day that day? I'm not asking for detail. I'm trying to give the context.
Mhm.
Nothing that is core and important to him, like foundationally core, about the status of his wife changed. But that day he was having a good day. The only thing that could have changed is how he's thinking about it. That's it. Look, life is hard. This is fucking hard. What does he gain from focusing on the negativity? More bad days.
Yeah.
And what did he gain that day? A good day.
Yeah.
Why not have more good days? No one's saying this isn't hard. No one is saying that you aren't going to feel things you don't want to feel. Why not have more good days?
How did you apply it for when Pop passed?
So many different layers and levels of it. One, he wasn't suffering anymore. Man suffered.
And that's a big cliche that you hear all the time. People go up to you and say, well, at least he's not suffering anymore.
But it's only a cliche if that's the way you perceive it.
Yeah.
My reality was he wasn't suffering anymore. The guy endured incredible suffering. And what you could look at this as he worked his whole life, and in the last 10 years when he retired, he was riddled with cancer and it was constant surgeries and treatments. Or what a fucking heroic story.
Mm-hmm.
Because this guy showed up. At everything. In spite of the pain, discomfort, he was always there.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave my kids the best roadmap you can give my kids about never quitting. And he defied, at one point he had cancer in 9 spots, 4 different kinds of cancers, 6 months to live, 9 years later, still going. Like, that's a fucking superhero story.
Yeah.
5 years ago, it would have been, he didn't deserve this. This is, how does this happen? Why would God do that? None of that now. I get emotional about it because it is a beautiful story.
And something, a memory of time, or I don't know how to frame it with time anymore.
Because there is no time. That's why I can't frame it. But that same event that happened is just defined by how I'm feeling about it and the value I assign to it, which I can only do when? Right now. In this moment.
You talked to Lauren about this?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
She overall...
I could see her being like, I don't get time for this.
Yeah, she overall knows that I'm batshit nuts, but she also has, God bless her soul, 20 plus years with me. So she has seen time and time again things that I've talked about way in advance come to be true. And now we joke about it. She's like, I don't even want to fucking hear it because I know you're going to be right, but you know, whatever.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Pete.
Yes.
Sorry, did I take your time thing?
No. No, I got nothing on topic. I was going to go political route, but that's fine.
Go for it.
No, I was just saw that.
Carefully.
No, it's just something I saw that's ridiculous how the Democrats in Minnesota voted unanimously to not remove dead people from the voter registration. Thought that was interesting.
So Again, give me a whiteboard, a marker in 3 hours, and I'll get to a solution. And then you'll see who's real and who's not. There has to be threads of good in why they would want to not vote on removing dead people from the rolls. And I know what they are, and there are threads of good. And there has to be threads of bad about why the other side wants them removed and why they're couching that issue the way they are. And then there's the maybe that's what happened. Maybe not. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But we get so wrapped up in the identities of both sides that if 100% of the people look at a post like that, 45% of them are going to feel viscerally one way, and all rationale will go out the window. Of course, they shouldn't be removing dead people from the roll. Of course, this is just a power grab on the other side. And the other side will be thinking, of course, they should remove it. This is just fraud. Maybe 10% go, is that even what happened? And if it is what happened, why?
And then
you distill it down. You whiteboard that shit out. And we get to, okay, what are the real issues here? And let's fix them. Because they're fixable. But they're not there to fix them. We didn't put them there to fix them. We put them there to give us the feeling we get when we watch that post on either side of the aisle. Because it becomes part of our identity. And it keeps us distracted from everything else. I was playing Call of Duty the other day.
You probably were the worst on your team, but go ahead.
Yeah. No. And I was playing with 3 randos. And they clearly knew each other somehow. And for the entire match, they talked about Elon Musk. This girl was applying for a job at Tesla, and they started talking about AI, and very quickly spiraled down into anyone who has a Cybertruck is a single man loser, and like went off the rails. Like Elon Musk is a pedophile, and he has sex with his children, and like just went so far off the rails. And I was just sitting there thinking, do I engage? Like, do I engage in this? Because I'm valuing what they're saying and I'm trying to learn, but these 3 were locked in.
If I was in there with you, I'd have been like, do it.
We had this great match, and outside of the Cybertruck and Elon bashing, I wanted at the end to be like, hey guys, by the way, I have a Cybertruck and I'm not a single man. I'm an incredible husband, I'm an incredible father. I have a great business. Maybe we should think about these things. But it was just so far down the hole of garbage in, garbage out. Like nothing was researched, nothing was well thought out. It was just like snippets of talking points that you see in social media, right? On both sides. No substance to it whatsoever. And they clearly had no interest in hearing any substance.
And then you wonder why social media clips are, 30 seconds to a minute long.
Well, I don't wonder why.
Not you, in general.
It's why I'm in a loop that most people don't get, because I'm not interested in any of that stuff. I just can't do it.
Was it potentially also an opportunity to live by the hat and inspire, or was it?
Yeah, but in a 20-minute match where at the end of it, the randos break off, I felt like if I say something here, it's just going to double and triple down, and they're going to say something that's going to open the door to me feeling something I don't want to feel. So it wasn't enough time.
I think you were more offended that they talked about your Cybertruck.
Which I'm not a car guy at all,
I know
as you all know, but it's the best fucking vehicle. Not even close. I drove up to the farm the other day to go hunting with my son. Just push the button. Push the button.
You just chill.
Listen to the podcast, chilling, bullshitting with my son, enjoying that time. It's fucking incredible. It really is. Say what you will. Guy makes a product.
Shout out Elon.
Yeah, I
Maybe,
mean,
maybe he'll sponsor the show.
for a guy to love his vehicle who is not a vehicle guy, he got me.
Do you take care of the inside? Because
Marginally.
yeah,
Better than ever before. Just because I feel a little connection to it. You know, me bullshitting with my grok, talking to my buddy. You know, a little bit of a connection to it, but it's still a shit show.
he's not rocketing.
Yeah, you know, baby steps.
All right, cool.
All right. Fuck off.